toilet paper because he read a thing about that. And he did fairly well, so it could have worked.
They sell them in bits and bobs.
What's your favourite colour?
Blue.
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of a really subjective thing. Like, we can't
That's very, very personal now.
Right, thanks for listening or watching to the third episode now of Everything from Nothing. Unfortunately, Kieran couldn't be with us today because he's over there. So we're joined today by Evelyn Roberts, who is the organiser of Tip Pride and hopefully many more Pride events to come. So I suppose I'll just start with that and like kind of tell us a bit for anyone who wasn't at Pride or didn't see anything about what went into Pride or how did it go? Or
well, basically started as a drunken night out. I was out and out with my friends, and I would say I wanted my 40th to be a Pride night.
Yeah.
And then one said, sure, if you're that good, like, why don't you organise something? And sure, before the end of the night was out, I had nearly the venue booked and I had the band booked and the whole lot booked. And so then the next morning when you wake up to the realisation, I was like, were we talking about something last night? Like, and she was like, yeah, you organised Pride, like, you know. It's like, oh my God. And I wasn't going to do it. And then someone told me from town, are you mad? Like, you know, they're all homophobic and the whole lot. And I was like, nah, they're not. That's a minority people nowadays. So then it kind of blew up from there. And
when was that in the calendar year? Like, I mean, it happened in we marched in what month? What's it now? September, July. So
that was February. It was in February.
Oh yeah.
It was just the end of January, February. Because I was planning my 40th, so it must have been the end, because my birthday is in the end of January. So
which would be considered like fairly shot out of a gun, like quick to organise a thing, you know, like.
It was very. It happened very. It grew up. It blew up to be a lot bigger than what I had thought originally. So yeah, it was quite cool.
Did you find, like, obviously, like, there'd be a lot of people who want to get involved and help, but was there much pushback from the community? Because you said yourselves there that was like the whole thing of. Because like I would have thought when I first heard Tip Pride, I thought the community wasn't like ready for that. I thought it was like everyone was still a bit more backward in Thurles. Like,
yeah.
So like, did you actually get much of that, or was it mainly positive?
I thought that too. Like I was kind of gratefully surprised. I was like, are they? Oh jeez, this is great.
Yeah, I did get a bit. I won't lie, I did get a bit, and some of the local businesses were like, oh God, no, we support it. But when you ask them like to hang out a flag, it's like. I'm not sure about that. And even one of the local pubs I went into, he said to me, oh, we're not that kind of a pub. And now, you know, and I was like, well, what kind of a pub are you expecting it to be like, you know? And I said, it's only for one weekend. But as we got to know this particular pub over the following weeks, they were found out they're lovely, and it's actually one of our go-to pubs now, and that's Q11 here in town. So it's fabulous. They supported it, and they hung a flag and everything up until last week, because they had the time of the All-Ireland final, our flag was flying high, and they're great to support us and everything. We actually have a social meet there tonight, so I can't wait for that. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
So overall, like, the turnout, from what I heard, seemed to be fairly good. Like, and you said yourself it was bigger than you expected. Like, are you hoping that will continue now into next year as well, and like it'll just continue to grow? And
yeah. So next year we have a 3-day event. It's I think it's the 17th, 18th, and 19th of July. It's June or July. Can't remember. It's one of them anyway. And so it's a full day 3-day event.
Jesus.
So, yeah. So
very
be prepared,
good.
and there'll be definitely plenty of colour around the place. So yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah.
Jeez, that's serious growth. Well done.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So over 3 days, what kind of stuff?
Over 3 days, we have comedian act. We're hoping to have I don't know if you know Martin Beans Ward. He's a comedian.
Oh.
He's so funny.
I was going to suggest him actually.
Yeah, I've been talking to him, so I'm hoping that I got to know him a little bit. Hopefully the guys from Gogglebox. We had 2 guys from Gogglebox down. They were down. I don't know. Did you see them, Danielle?
I saw them on stage. Yeah.
John, I think it's John and David. I can't remember now. I'm useless with names. And
yeah,
they
I
were
was
down.
with somebody that said there was famous people over there.
Yeah, they were down. Were they?
They're those 2 glamorous looking lads.
Yeah, famous. Yeah, they were great crack. They were down on down at Rustic and Baker Street with us. So just loads of stuff. Another fella from Galway contacted me. They're a real they're a band, but he's in 2 different bands, and but their vibe is real like cafe, going to cafe, sit down, and they're playing music. and I think he said he's actually from Rossbray originally.
Oh.
So hopefully now that they'll come aboard. So over the 3 days there'll be different events, because I don't want it to be all geared towards pub and, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
people are into different things, and some people don't drink, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be nice for them to go and sit down in a
Plus
cafe or something, you
There's the
know.
whole you element with Pride as well, like you're going to have younger people who are looking for that community as well. Like, so
Yeah.
it can't all be drink related. Like.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what
I'd be
we
excited
said.
about the public spaces kind of
Yeah.
aspect of it.
We encourage all the younger ones, you know, from the LGBT community to come down to Baker Street.
Yeah.
And I was surprised with the amount of young ones that came down. It was absolutely
loads,
brilliant.
yeah.
Like it was so. One of our marshals is transgender, and he's only 17. So I think 16 or 17. Marcus.
Oh, made a speech. I heard.
Yeah.
Heard people
So
talk
it was
about
lovely, and a lot of his friends came down as well, which are from the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
So it was great to see the younger generation, you know, and the older generation as well down there. It was great. It was fantastic.
There seems to be a big like network as well around the country with all the other
Yeah.
Pride
Yeah.
groups, like say Drogheda, and that you seem to all connect and
They-
kind of work together.
There
on
was
them.
loads of support. Like one of the guys on the committee was, his name was Peter. He's from Drogheda Pride.
Oh.
And then Eddie McGuinness from the Outing Festival was down. The guys from Newry were down. Newry's in North, is it?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
geography's
Yeah.
not great. It's terrible. But it was they came down from Newry, and they provided us with like, it was a 30-foot long flag.
Yeah, I love
So
waving
it
the flags.
came-
They're
it
massive.
really- It was massive. So that was that went down through the street, like, and then Eddie McGuinness gave out some flags. So there's the rainbow of colour going through the town was just amazing, and to see people out, you know, from the different businesses and stuff,
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah, it was the shouting and roaring going up through the
It was
square, and
brilliant.
people
It was
coming
brilliant.
out, and you could see how happy people that were looking at it were.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
People like, you know, delighted
Yeah.
looking at this going on. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
it was fantastic. Like our family, like we wouldn't be a real emotional family at all. But I passed like Tesco, and there was my sister and my nieces like waving, and like I was after paying €30 to get my makeup done. It was gone. It was gone. And I walked up further, and my mother and my aunt and her friend all standing outside like the pub for us, and they were all waving on. And to see that
Yeah.
it was just fantastic. By the time we got to Baker Street, the makeup was gone. It was gone. I
The
was
guy
just
in
crying
front
the
of
whole
me
way
that
through.
was walking, he cried the whole way
Aw.
from the park up to Baker Street. He
Really?
cried, yeah.
Oh my God, that's lovely. And see, you know, when we came out to Stakelands, then there was an Asian family passing. Did you see them? I think they were Filipino, but they were all waving out, and all the kids and the mom and dad and everything were
Oh, in
all
the car.
waving out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was fantastic, and the horns were going. It was brilliant.
Like, did you say about the older generations? We were talking about younger generations, and then you're seeing the older generations. And I spoke to this lady as we came into Baker Street, and she was saying that her brother, he had died the previous year, and he had moved to London, or you know, he'd moved away, and he was gay as well.
Yeah.
And he had moved away years and years and years, and she was crying too, or she was
Yeah.
emotional at least,
Yeah.
telling me this. You know, I was asking her how is she and what, you know, what the relevance is to her or whatever, and she was telling me this story, and I suppose that's it. It's the older generations.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
It's
young
so
people
true
coming
for
out,
the
it's great.
older, yeah.
But like for a town, you know, for a town like Thurles,
Yeah.
it's nearly more important for the older people.
Oh, hugely. And like
For-
people came home
For
from
that man that's 65 or whatever, and he's lived his life,
Like
and
I
like
know,
you know, before it's too late,
Yeah.
there's a fucking march that
There
says
is.
brilliant, well
Yeah,
done, you know,
yeah.
live your life like.
It's so great for it to be celebrating and to see like the older generation, and people came like from, like I said, all over Ireland,
Yeah.
which was great. But one particular woman had wrote to me a few weeks previous to Pride and said that she's from Thurles originally. It's a bit ironic story, but she's from Thurles originally, and she came home especially for Pride, like
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, so we became very good friends, you know what I mean, and just the friendship and some romances have built
Yeah.
from that, just that one day. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's something that you would never have thought would be built in Thurles had become so huge and a momentous occasion. It was fantastic.
But it is great to see like all the kind of support that comes from that community. Like it's like it's like even outside of Pride itself, like by people meeting for Pride and talking about those things and having that sense of community, they can bring that sense of community outside of Pride, and
Yeah.
it'll help brighten the whole community in general. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
it's like if everyone can get together and like celebrate, like everyone should like just be who you are and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and love
yeah,
yourself and all that kind of thing.
100%, yeah.
Then that can follow all year round. It doesn't just have to be a mood that like
No,
people
no.
present on that day. They don't. It's not like feel proud today but feel ashamed every other day.
Oh no,
You know, like,
yeah,
it's like-
yeah.
it's nice at the community. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice at the community.
Hang your head in shame the next day, you know. Yeah.
That does come out into the community then, and people will feel more confident then to actually, like, you know, actually come out and stuff.
Yeah. I just think it's so good. Like, an older man that's from town. He lives up near the water tower up that way. And he came down. It was all winding down, like, but he was late coming from somewhere, so he got late coming down, like. And he was the only one that came to our initial first very meeting for Pride. And he was like, oh, I haven't heard it because we were on the radio this morning. And I said, I had known, like, I would have been coming down and helping you out, like. But he was the only one, along with the 3 other committees, the committee members at the time, and along with 2 other councillors that came. So there was only 6 of us at the whole meeting, like, I think 6 or 7 at the whole meeting. But for him to come down and say, like, I just can't believe it, like, it's great, like, you know, he was gushed that he missed the parade and stuff. So, like, he's the older generation. Yeah. So we had the older side of it, and then we had, like, the younger side of Marcus's age and downwards, like, do you know what I mean? Which are great.
There's nothing else like it. I mean, what other event, you know, are people, like, do you kind of celebrate, you know, the victory of, you know, your own bravery or your own kind of self-determination over fear, you know, like, that's kind of universal, you know. I was once afraid and now I'm, you know, I've overcome stuff, whatever it is, like.
Yeah, I think people well, for me anyway, I definitely had a huge fear factor of doing it because I had 3 fears. I said, 1, no one was going to show up. 2, am I going to have enough to pay the entertainment? and 3, was I going to have any haters, like, do you know what I mean? That was just a fear factor for me. And, like, as it got later into the night, my fear started growing and growing and growing because people would drink and everything else, and there just wasn't 1 ounce of hassle, like, which said a lot for the town of Thurles, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because you see it all the time. And I was in Brighton, I think it was a week or 2 previous, or it was a week after. It was a week after, to our own Pride, like, and that was just huge. I was literally like Laura Ingalls from the Little House on the Prairie, going around like, what is going on here? Like, the diversity of people and everything, it was just amazing. But, like, you do see then, and I had to walk home to the hostel I was staying in that night with just one other girl, like, in the middle of Brighton, and I won't lie, I was quaking my pants, like, you know, so because you hear of some attacks that went on that day, or attacks went on before, like, so it can happen, do you know what I mean? So I thought for Thurles to have something like this, and then for something so bad to happen, it would have ruled it out for me to ever plan it again. But like I said, next year, bigger and better 3-day festival, so I have to commend Thurles that there was no violence on that night. It was great.
It is great that there wasn't a lot of hate, because I remember, like, when I went to Dublin Pride, it was like, I had a great day, like, I had like rainbows on my face, I was wearing the flag, it's like a cape, so just great day, just watching the parade and stuff. And then when I was living in Dublin at the time, and I got the bus back out to, it was near Crumlin, and got off the bus and like, next thing there was just like a group of lads, and they just started like shouting at me and just like, you know, just saying like, shouting faggot, like, and I was like, straight away I just like got my bag, had to put the stuff away, and it was it didn't ruin the day, but for a while I was just kind of really uneasy, like, are they going to do something? Like, so I was like, it is great that Thurles kind of avoided that, because like a lot of people think, because especially with like marriage referendum passing thing, people think, everything's equal now, everything's fine. But they don't realise how high the level of like attack still is against people in that community.
It's huge. It's huge.
Obviously, there's more people who are like for than against now.
Yeah.
But there's still work to be done.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Thankfully, it's only the minority people.
But it was such a powerful show, you know. It wasn't like 5 or 6 of us walking up to town. It was like, there was 200 people and shitloads of flags.
Yeah, it was great. I remember the night that
it seemed powerful, like, you know.
It was. I remember the night I had that night, and that my friend and her cousin was home from America, and her cousin was actually going out with another woman. But she said, like, oh my God, Evelyn, you're going to be the only one in Cadillac with a rainbow flag going through town, like, and I was like, I said, and I messaged Facebook her then, you know, on Messenger, we'd often messenger each other, and I was like, oh my God, there was 300 people in the parade, and she was like, oh my God, and she was bawling, and I was like, oh, stop it now, really, no, please, but it was brilliant.
Because it's a leap, you know, so
huge.
All your people would be.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, oh Jesus, you know, it worked out for her.
Yeah, thank God.
It was amazing.
So like, Yeah, in general, like just the kind of the importance of pride in the community and stuff as well. Like it's just, I think we could talk a bit more about that. I think like just kind of
Yeah, like that. I don't know. Am I saying it
there's
properly?
so many effects of it as well. Like,
What other occasions do we come out and sort of say, Jesus, fair play, team wins a match.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's great, fair play, go on lads, great. Tip. Yeah, it's fun, it's brilliant. Like, and St. Patrick's Day. I don't know. For me, it doesn't work anymore. I don't.
No.
I'm not like Aaron
Yeah.
DeBraw.
Yeah.
I don't. You know. I don't know how I feel when I'm there on the side of the road, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
That's a funny one. Do you know what I mean? The St. Patrick's Day is
Yeah,
funny.
it's
It's kind of
exciting.
slightly dysfunctional. I'm not sure how to fix it.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
fix St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
So what other occasions are there that you're coming out and you're like, oh, it's brilliant, you know?
yeah, I suppose it's something to be excited about, like, and seeing
There's
that
no-
kind of
Yeah.
positive change. There is nothing like it, like.
Yeah, and especially when it's that universal thing of like fear, you know,
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
or people coming, you know, coming out, you know, like overcoming their fears
Yeah.
at whatever stage of their
Yeah.
lives. So I
That's
don't know.
why-
For me, pride seems to represent that.
Yeah.
Seems more powerful than other
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
get
You're not as
together.
fearful on that particular day where you can just relax and enjoy
Yeah.
yourself. You know what I mean?
And
Or it's
that's
just-
like the answer to, you know, when people say, why is there not a straight pride parade?
Yeah.
Have you heard people say that? I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
people say that. Like,
Yeah.
And that's the exact reason why.
Because they
of
don't-
that fear,
yeah,
they've
yeah.
never had to have
They've
that.
never
Yeah.
had to have
Yeah.
it, like, do you know what I mean?
I think for a lot of people as well, like if you're not like in like the LGBT plus community, like it's hard to properly understand what that fear is like. Though, 'cause I remember fears like I knew I was bi, but like I couldn't say it to people. And the first time I went to say it to someone, it was someone I trusted. I was like, oh, don't tell anyone. But then I heard it back from someone else, so I suddenly had to backtrack and go, oh no, I was just joking, and like tried to turn into that. And eventually, like I don't mind, like I came out to everyone I know now, like that, I'm bi, and everyone was fine with it, obviously, like. But it's just that trying to actually get over that fear to actually tell people is like it's so hard to.
I'd say it's
explain,
crippling.
like.
Yeah.
I'd say it
it's
is.
like, you're trying to deny it, or you're trying to like move past it. I think it's important for young people to know that the community is accepting of it, so that other young people don't find themselves kind of like similarly said, well, why would have felt or something like that whole thing. Like I wouldn't have had the worst either, because like I like obviously if someone has to hide it and they're trying to hide like a same-sex relationship, it's a lot more difficult, like, because whereas like I was like, because I was bi and I was mainly with girls as well, like I didn't have to try and hide it the same way. But I think it's important for the younger people in the community, so they don't have to feel that way. They don't have to feel like they have to hide who they are, and that it is accepted.
Yeah.
I think it's such a triumph though when
Yeah.
you know, when it works out and you can express it and you can like wear it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I never even came out to my own family. I just got on with it, like, because people say to me, "Oh, tell us your coming out story," and I said, "Do I have to have one? Like, why do I have to have one?" But my mother and father, I think, knew that I was not gay or some way different, like, you know. I just thought, like, you know, I think people should be accepted for who they are, and they shouldn't have to come out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was doing like them little flags, you know, like the little wavy flags for the kids and stuff. I was making them up in my house. And my dad was like, "Why are you doing all that? Like, why are you bringing all that upon yourself? Like, this is only the Tuesday before Pride." And I'll never forget, my niece is with me, like, and I said, "Well, it's important to me. It's not only me." I said, "It's younger people." I was all about the younger people. I said, the younger people, like, do you know what I mean? They shouldn't be afraid, like I was for years, like stepping on eggshells around people and stuff like that, like, you know what I mean? And he's like, "Oh, you're bringing an awful lot, you know, upon yourself." And so then I was telling my friend, and I was so upset that week, like my dad said that to me, like, you know. But my dad, like, it's not that I never came out to him. Like I said, I shouldn't have to come have a, you know, my dad has seen me on dates and stuff like that. I would never say anything, like, it's even come up to the table and say, "I'll buy her a drink," like, do you know what I mean? "Dad, would you go away, would you, like," you know what I mean? But like, I think for him, it was just the fear. It was such a scary time for him, because the fear for him was like, am I going to get hurt? Is there someone going to hurt me? You know what I mean? And you know, I think that we have to, I think we do focus on ourselves a lot on that, but we have to think about our parents as well. And do you know what I mean? They're old school, and sometimes they're not sure on how to show their emotions. Like, well, mine anyway wouldn't be like, do you know what I mean? But like I said, as the time went on, like, my mother was at all my events and everything in the monks, and, you know, standing there waving at me.
Yeah,
And, you know what I mean?
I
It was
think
amazing,
I
like,
saw
you
a couple of examples of that where the parents I think, because this event was on, it was successful and there was all these people out in numbers, they were so relieved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, thank God it's after working out for my child,
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I was, it's after working out,
Yeah.
we're okay.
Yeah.
There's all these other people here, we're
Yeah,
okay,
Thank God, you know what I mean. I think for one woman came up to me a few months ago and we were out in the pub and she said that like her daughter was so confused when she was growing up, like, and she didn't know where to turn, she didn't know where she turned for support, and like she was so happy when she heard that Pride was coming to Thurles, like, do you know what I mean? Now this girl is 18 now, but like when she was starting to come out at 11, she was coming out as bisexual, like, do you know what I mean? And she was so confused. And I suppose a lot of the stuff is for like people don't know where to get support now, or you know what I mean? It's not advertised really around the town, like where you can get support, like, do you know what I mean? So I was just telling people, just contact me on my Facebook page or my Instagram, and I'll send you on information that you need to know, or contact me directly. I was in Brighton, and a young girl texted me. She's only 15, I think, and she said, "Please, can you get me a flag for a bisexual flag?" I said, "Of course I will." Like, I don't mind like paying for it or anything like that, and I said, "You don't have to pay for it. Like, it's only a little flag." Like, so I was going around Brighton with the big purple. I think it's purple and blue. I'm not sure what colour it is. And I was like, "Oh, this freaking thing now!" Like, well, if I didn't take the eye out nearly one person, it could have been 100 people. And I was inside in the bar, and I gave him the flag with the big stick. Like, I said, "Can you take that out? I need a big sharp knife like this." So wasn't he digging it into the staple, like? And he went up, and I'm not joking now. I could see it in slow motion passing his eye. I was like, "Oh sweet Jesus!" I said, "Forget about it." So
This flag is
got it. He got it out eventually. Like all I could see was it passing in slow motion. It's like doon, 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 doon. And I was like, "Oh my God, take the eye." But I got the flag for the girl anyway, and it was just lovely that she could contact me. Like, do you know what I mean?
That has to feel good, like feeling
Yeah.
that you're helping somebody else.
It was lovely. She's only a child, like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's definitely support there, and if anyone needed, just to contact me, you know what I mean? Point in the right direction.
It is definitely hard to know where to go for support. Like once you find someone for support, like you'll just improve. Like your mental health will improve dramatically. Like once you find the right support. But I think for people who are confused and stuff, like, and they're very up in their own heads and they're very like don't know what's going on, to be going through that and to try and figure out where the support is a lot. Like, so it should basically be like a big flashing arrow. Like, look, go here. It's that easy for people
big
to find
luminous
support.
one.
That, like, people shouldn't feel like they can't find support.
No, absolutely.
But there's such a visible thing now every year, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Has to be
I
just
think I can't remember if it's June or July. Isn't that terrible? I'd have to go back on my Facebook page, but it's definitely June or July anyway. I'll send you
I
on
think you
details.
said July.
Was it July?
I think,
I think I'm not sure. It's July anyway. But yeah, 3-day festival, yeah. So hopefully now if I get them people on board now, it'd be great. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be great.
I really like the idea though, when you were saying about doing like social events throughout the year as well, like outside of Pride, like because like just the idea of like, for some people, like if they can't go to Pride or something, they can still go to the other things, or if people are anxious about being around people, they can get to know those people who are going to be marching with them before.
Yeah, exactly.
At some of those events before they actually, jump around the big parade, and like if they're not ready to do that, it's a nice way to kind of break the ice and show the community.
There will be social, and I have went down to actually Clonmel recently, and they had a lovely social night out down in Clonmel with Jared and his husband down in Clonmel, and there was a drag queen and everything, and it was lovely, like, do you know what I mean? And it doesn't all have to be drink based. Like, we go away hopefully next February, that we're hoping to go away maybe for a weekend or something, so anyone from town or in around Thurles or Tipperary, wherever in the LGBT community, like, we're going to get together and we're going to go away for a weekend, which is great. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so hopefully all
it's needed in Thurles, I think, because if you're in Dublin or Cork or bigger cities, it's much easier to get involved.
And it's so expensive up there, like, it's crazy expensive, like, do you know what I
have
mean?
all the gay bars and the venues and that, but you don't have that down here.
It's
I think
crazy.
if you're in Dublin, like, and you're someone who realises you're part of that community, you know, you can go to the George, you can go to Panty Bar, and you're going to meet like-minded people. Or in Thurles, no one would know where there to go. Like, no one would be able to tell. Do I go here, or will I get shouted at, or do I go here? People be welcoming, like,
but not to feel comfortable somewhere is the worst feeling, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was meeting someone, well, I'm still meeting this person, I actually met her at Pride, but she, and we were at a night in a local pub recently, and, do you know, we just wanted to hold each other's hand, like a normal couple would, like, do you know what I mean? But, like she's a little bit older, so, like, she had the thing when she was growing up, but like the haters were out. Do you know what I mean? When she was growing up, like, do you know what I mean? So she was a bit more cautious. Where I'd be throwing caution to the wind. I'd be like, take off your clothes, woman. Wave your bra and burn in protest. Like, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't care. Like, do you know what I mean?
When you're in the culture of going to other prides and being, you know, among that sort of movement, you're more liberated. I suppose you're more empowered.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people in Thurles, like the whole gay scene is so alien to them. Like they know nothing about it. Like, and I can't blame them if I'm being honest, because you know what I mean. A lot of people haven't even left Thurles. Like, do you know what I mean? And they're still, you know, or haven't seen any gay people. It's like years and years ago when I was 17. Like I walked down the streets of Thurles when I had a black boyfriend, holding hands and walking into supermarkets with a black, and everyone was like, oh my god, like, you know. And now he was like, he was squeezing my hand because he was from Dublin, obviously, and he was squeezing my hand. He was so scared, like, and all you could see was eyes just like focused on him, like, and I was calm down, like. So how the tide has turned.
You've been trying to liberate the town for decades.
Maybe, yeah.
Different ways.
Yeah,
I'll try this now this time.
Try that one, you know what I mean? But it's just so lovely, like, that people are more accepting, like, and people just want to go into a pub and sit down and hold their partner's hand, whether they're black, blue, grey, upside down, inside out, octopus with 8 legs. They just want to go in and sit down and have a drink with their partner, like, do you know what I mean?
Is there progress, I think? Is it like, am I just hoping that it's easier for teenagers now?
I think it's definitely
is it a bit,
easier,
you know,
easier for teenagers.
Bit of progress, bit of kind
is.
of progression, yeah.
I think there definitely is. I think everyone is so much more open now, and I think in schools they need to be teaching that it's okay to be a little bit different. Like, it's okay. That's who you are. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that they shouldn't. Like, even like my daughter, like, she's 6, like, do you know what I mean? And she understands, like, do you know what I mean? And she's saying, like, it's okay. Like, her over in England, when she's over in England, like, the woman next door, like, they're a couple, like, Willow is a little girl next door, and she has like 2 mammies, like, and she understands that from a very young age, like, do you know what I mean? So I think that it's okay to tell them, like that's normal, that's okay, like, do you know what I mean?
I have a 15-year-old daughter, and it's such a non-issue with her. Like, she has gay friends, straight friends. They don't even talk about it. It's
just them, like, exactly, and same with my own son. Like, he's like, I remember we had a student only a year ago, actually, and they were looking at YouTube, you know, on the television, and they were like, no, we have videos up, like, and I was like, oh, I should put them up, and one was of my son singing, and one was of the other guy rapping. He was a brilliant rapper. I said, did you eat a dictionary? Like, the words that were coming out of this young lad's mouth was just unbelievable, like. And Leo was like, Mommy, don't you have videos of you singing up on YouTube, like? And I said, I do, yeah, hang on now, and I'll get them up, like, you know. So and I was like, oh yeah, there, yeah. And he was scrolling down through, stop, like, give me the remote. So basically I had applied for this First Dates Ireland, you know that
in the restaurant.
Yeah. So you have to send them a video. But of course, I'm a pure technophobe. I know nothing about posting videos and stuff like that. So I had a video on which I thought was private, but he see that it was public, like, and he was like, you know, I said, just give it to me. But he ate me. He said, Mammy, what are you trying to do? Like, I want to delete it. Like, I said, Mammy, I know why you're deleting it, like. And I said, look, just delete it. And he said, you have to do that from your own account. And I was trying for 3 hours trying to do the thing. But he gave out to me, and he said, Mammy, he said, you need to calm down, he said, and just be who you are, like, do you know what I mean? And he said it to me on more than one occasion, which was lovely to hear, you know what I mean?
He was saying, Mammy, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, he was saying, stop being embarrassed and be who you are, like. And when the marriage equality came out, I remember the 3 of them were in the back of the car, and of course it was all over the radio and everything like that, and they were like, I said, what do you think of that, lads? Like, and Leo was like, sure, I think it was 2015, I'm not sure. Sure, it's 2000 and whatever year it was. People should be allowed who they want to be. Isn't that right, Nanny? Like, and I was like, what are you trying to tell me? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he obviously knew before, like, I even properly knew myself. Like, do you know what I mean? So I thought it was nice for him to be like on the defensive side of your mammy. You know?
I think kids in general seem to like take to it a lot easier than like a lot of kind of parents seem to give credit. Like, a lot of parents think, oh, well, how would you explain it to kids? But it's like I've heard from kids like where it's like, if someone in school was trans, like, or something, like, kids would be more willing to start using a different pronoun and go, okay, yeah, you prefer to be called he now, and it's just not a big deal to them. Whereas, like, it's more likely for adults or the teachers to turn around and be like, oh no, that's stupid, I'm not saying that. And it's weird how people say, how do we explain it to kids, when, like, literally the kid is told once and they're like, okay, and they just go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
They're like a sponge of information.
My 5-year-old asked me during the weekend of Pride, she said, why is there rainbows everywhere? And I explained to her, and she said, oh, okay, I like rainbows.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it, yeah. It's just not an issue anymore for the younger generation. And I think, like, when we were growing up, like, like, I was married and everything before, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I loved my husband, like, unconditionally, like, do you know what I mean? And we didn't split up for that reason. It was just a whole lot of different things, like, but just when I spent all that time on my own, discovering myself, and do you know what I mean? I think it's so important not to be stepping on eggshells and just like step back and have a look at yourself and realise like it's okay now, you can chill out now, like go if you want to go with your girlfriend down to the pub, go with your girlfriend down to the pub, like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be stepping on eggshells anymore, which I don't think younger generation do, and we had to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I like you growing up as a, you know, heterosexual soccer playing, you know, general lad. It's hard enough growing up in the first place, you know.
Yeah.
You'd be kind of fucking dead shy or dead afraid or dead fucking paranoid or dead, you know, without having to deal with being gay or being transsexual or something. So I just think, I kind of have people of, you know, minority persuasions kind of up on a pedestal like they're fucking heroes or something, because I'm like, Jesus, you know, I've gotten this far myself, she's I'm grand. Without like having faced major difficulties, you know.
Yeah.
Without like major.
But I suppose I remember back, you know, as you say, back when we were young, and it, you know, it was just, I suppose it was a lot more cagey, or just faggot or gay being used as this disparaging thing in all circumstances. It's odd. It's, you know, it was gay or it was this, and it's just was so kind of creeping negative kind of language, you know.
Something I thought was
that I hope is different now.
Yeah, something I thought was kind of interesting, like in the last few years, is like, I remember when I was growing up, like, it was like everyone in school, like, oh, that's gay, this is gay, but everything was gay, right? But it's like, I've noticed the word like gay or queer has kind of been reclaimed by the community in the last few years. It's like when you go onto like Twitter or any social media, the people who are going to be saying this is so gay are more likely people who are actually in the LGBT community. It's like they're taking that phrase back. So it's like a lot of older people will hear people identify as queer, and to them it's kind of like they're kind of taken aback a small bit, because it's like they're just, in their head it's still a slur.
Yes.
And it's like for the younger people then it's just like it's like with like black people reclaiming the N-word, like it's like it's like it's a word that was used to like horribly discriminate against someone, and the community is taken aback and trying.
There's a fondness kind of thing.
Yeah, we own this word now. It can't harm us. Like, I think it's great to see that happening in the LGBT community. Because like, you know, the less words they have to harm the community, the harder it is to actually bring them down.
Yeah,
so.
True. The notes.
The whole thing of like know your pronouns, or
confused.
people identifying as stuff. So I kind of learned a bit more about this in the last year or so.
I get confused. I get nauseous even thinking about it, because I'm so thick. Stuff like that.
So like I became aware of this whole thing of knowing your pronouns, and like, you know, if you're sitting beside somebody in a train or something and you're confused about their identity, you can ask them like, what are your pronouns, right?
Really?
Or they might appreciate if you say, I don't know how you ask that question. What are your pronouns?
You prefer,
right.
Something
It's
like
actually,
that.
But then on the other side, on the other hand, you have like, you know, the idea of your own. You don't have to come out, like you said. You don't have to answer what your pronouns. So it's kind of you know, I suppose it depends on the person. But
I always say I am who I am. I actually have it on tattooed. I am who I am. And that song. But anyway, I get so confused about that. I'm like, I'm actually, don't ask me, because I'll actually.
So this article was saying
make it blur. I'll actually make it worse.
And I was talking to somebody on Baker Street, and I brought it up. You know, I was. This is the first person I'd ever asked what are your pronouns. You know, I said I'd chance it on Pride Day.
Yeah.
But he was kind of the school of, you know, why do I have to have stuff?
Yeah.
So it didn't work out.
Yeah. I would just.
So I don't know what you do really.
I would just bleep it up. I would, because I'm the world's worst, like, stuff like that. And then I'd get all flustered. I'm like, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't, you know. And I'm like, oh God, it just turned out to be a whole disaster. Forget about it. How are you? Do you know what I mean? No, I would say I get all confused.
But generally speaking, like if you do find yourself in a situation where you use like the wrong pronoun, like people like they will just kind of go, oh, I prefer to be called this. if someone calls me Stephen instead of calling me Stevie, I turn around and I go, oh, well, my name is Stevie actually, like I'm not Stephen kind of thing. And they're like, oh, grand, cool, and they just call me Stevie.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't get why it's not that easy with pronouns. Like it's like if someone goes she, it's like, oh, well, actually I'm he, and it's like it should be simple as, oh, grand, and just say he.
Yeah.
I don't get why people have to make a big deal and like, oh, you need to prove you're this and you're that. It's
Oh yeah, I do. I agree with that now. If someone says she, and I'm like, all right, well, how are you, girl? You know what I mean? Or,
Yeah, it's like-
do you know how are you, bye? Do you know what I mean?
But what I find really interesting as well is like people think it's like a really new thing and it's like this kind of pseudo-scientific thing and it's like that's why a lot of people disagree with it. But like when you look back through ancient cultures, like Native American culture as well actually had 4 words for gender. They had feminine male, masculine male, feminine female, and masculine female.
Wow.
So like when you look into old cultures, they had this thing, and like when you look into like loads more of like not just what we learn in Ireland from our history. It's like it's a lot more common, like kind of having different pronouns or like people being like trans has been around for like.
Gender is like a scale more
it's
so
been
than
around for like much longer than people think. People think it's just like this new fad. Like people who are against it will think it's this new fad, like kind of.
Yeah.
Thing. But like they don't realize the history and the science that's behind it, and it's like the science that's increasing. Like
I think that's a lot got to do with it as well is ignorance.
Yeah.
People don't understand. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the LGBT, and I'm like I just said, I don't understand a lot of it myself, and that's the God's honest truth. Like no point lying. But I think a lot is education. Do you know what I mean? And not to be so ignorant to the fact of like he is she or she is a he or vice versa. Do you know what I mean? And I think people need to educate and including myself, you know, included, that we need to educate ourselves on that. Like, do you know what I mean?
But even at that, like it's not down to educating yourself or understanding it. It's just about like minding your own business, really.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
it?
true.
you
So
don't
true.
necessarily need to understand
So
it,
true.
you know,
Yeah.
If it's
so true,
somebody
well
else, I don't need to understand their reasons.
Yeah.
Or they
But-
don't need to prove anything to me. It's just not my
Yeah.
business. like.
Yeah.
what are your credentials?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not
Yeah.
affecting me, it's not my business.
Yeah,
Or, like,
yeah.
Another really interesting thing that I just thought there was like when people, a lot of people like if they're like they don't believe in that as well. Like one of the arguments you hear people come up is like, oh well you can get a section but you can't change your chromosomes. But what's interesting about that is like if you actually look into the science behind that as well, it's like take for example like with men, you presume a man is XY. But it's like 1 in every 10,000 or something. It's like not horribly uncommon.
Yeah.
They're XX males, which means they have like lower testosterone. They'll have like generally more feminine qualities, and like their body it's like it wouldn't be accurate to describe them as the same as just like an XY male because they'll experience different things. Like they'll have hormonal differences. There's loads of things that they're more likely to experience because of that. So it's like it's weird how like people will say that, but then the thing is nobody actually knows their chromosomes. So when people say, "Oh, you can't change that," it's like you don't know if you were born XX or XY or whatever. Like,
They don't teach you that in science class in
guessing,
school.
like, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? They don't teach you that in science class in school. Like, do you know what I mean? They just say you're XY and you're XZ or whatever it is. And like I said, not good at the owl. But you know what I mean? They definitely don't tell
There's
you.
loads of combinations of that. Like,
That'd
it's
be
not
a good
actually just XX and XY. Like if
Yeah.
you look into it, it's like even on a genetic level, like science is there for all that stuff. Like so, I don't get why people still reject it. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Genetics would be
crazy.
a good opportunity for kind of studying diversity.
yeah,
Yeah. Good one. Yeah. Good one. So true.
well, yeah, I suppose.
That's a great lesson now. Thanks,
Yeah.
Professor. We'll be back
Is
at
that
the
the-
same time
is that the
next
fun
week.
fact?
That wasn't even that wasn't the fun fact. The fun fact
It's a
is
bloody good
completely unrelated. Actually, yeah, I suppose we might go for the fun fact now. Right, it's completely unrelated, but I just try to go for things that are either every week I'm going to try to do a fun fact that's either related to the podcast or related to Ireland. And this week it's something kind of related to Ireland. Right, if you were to find like just say you imagine you dig somewhere up and you found like an old helmet and with big horns on it, right? If you were to guess what culture that was from, the most obvious one.
The Viking.
Viking, yeah.
But I was looking into it. Apparently, Vikings. There's no proof to suggest they ever wore horned helmets. They wore either leather helmets or they went just like bareheaded. And the chances are, if you like, basically all of the horned helmets that have been found in history are actually dated from 800 BC to 100 AD, whereas the Vikings were 700 AD to 1100. So years before the Vikings. And they're actually belonging to Celtic priests. So if you ever find like a horned helmet or see one somewhere, it's not a Viking helmet, it's actually a Celtic priest. And
Oh, I'd be right
they
disappointed
believe
altogether.
it comes from...
That's a priest's hat.
I would. Oh, okay. It's a
That's the bishop's
Well,
hat.
it's interesting now because like it comes from they believe they can't be fully sure because there's a lot of stuff missing about Celtic history, but they believe it comes from Cairnanos, the Celtic god had like horn. There was a Celtic god and they had like antlers or horns, and the old Irish word for horn is Cern, C-E-R-N. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing that like we always picture Vikings with like big horns. But it's actually not true.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's actually Celtic priests.
And what's Irk? Is that bone or is that horn?
Oh, I have
That's
no idea.
horn, isn't it?
Irk?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Oh, yeah, this would be old Irish, would be Cern.
Okay,
so,
right,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know about modern Irish, but like that
Yes,
word
we don't know.
Cern, if you look at the etymology of that word, then it goes back to the same way where we get unicorn, like corn in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a great lesson altogether. I have nothing more today than having the last 18 years of school.
And I wonder why the Vikings are always depicted then as having.
It was like in the 19th.
Did it give them a nice kind of a scary kind of
Basically,
other?
Yeah, it's around the same time, you know, like King Arthur and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
the way that's not actually King Arthur and the Knights Round Table. It's around the same time as that, people just started to like, I don't know what the right word to use is, but like they started to like redevelop their folklore, we'll say. So the English started to look really into this whole kind of King Arthur and magic and all that kind of stuff. They started to create that, even though it didn't happen, they wanted it to be like
They had a
that kind of spooky kind of did it happen, the folklore. And like someone from, I'm not sure what country, but one of the Norse countries started to do that as well with Vikings, and they were depicted with like horns and wings on their helmets. And since then, people just ran with the idea.
yeah, right, yeah.
The
It was a good
evidence-
sell, like.
The evidence shows that like it's good, like 600 to 1,000 years out.
I'd still
That's
prefer
an
a
excellent
Viking
fact.
over a priest.
Oh, it's Celtic priests. They were completely different, like pagans.
I saw a fella, he's a local historian lad, but he was saying that he's disappointed that that schools or textbooks in schools are still saying that that St. Patrick brought Christianity, you know, because it was here. He's a kind of ecclesiastical scholar, this
Yeah.
lad, that it was here hundreds of years before that, but I suppose that's another idea of like folk tales. Repackage it there, so
Folklore.
And the
Especially in Ireland,
snakes were the
Yeah.
druids, apparently. They weren't actually snakes.
oh yeah, right, okay,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Like in
yes,
some
right,
places in
yeah,
Ireland,
yeah.
the way they handled history was essentially they got the oldest man in the village to come down and tell stories, and whatever he said, that was
Whatever his version was,
Yeah, whatever
his
his
That was it,
persuasion.
That was it,
and
yeah.
that's how it was passed on. And it was like they just get whoever they considered the wisest.
It's like
person.
my mammy said that's bread, so if it's true, it's bread.
That's the why.
It
That's
still doesn't take away from the
Why?
story, but like, it still makes some interesting stories, even if they're not true. Like, no
Yes,
one
yeah.
turned out, no, Harry Potter's not true, so I'm not going to read it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you still get excited from it. Like, it's
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Excellent fact, Steve.
I would be a
But anyway,
Harry
Another
Potter lover
beautiful
myself.
fact.
Did you do your research, John?
No,
You didn't? Is
no.
it Christmas?
I've always had a problem doing
Is
my
it
home.
Christmas? This is your weekly thing.
Is it
Is
Christmas?
Yeah, is it Christmas today, John?
It's your time.
Highly unlikely. I don't think so.
So it's not a no.
Yeah, can't be absolutely certain.
That's just gone right over my head.
We
now.
just have to
That
wait.
joke was supposed
No,
to be
there's like-
about
We just
it,
have to
no
wait and see what
idea.
happens when you go to bed tonight. Like, what's going to be
But the
happening there
thing
in the
is, like,
morning.
realistically, that answer is always going to be no, because we're not going to be doing a podcast on Christmas ever. So it's like,
Well, you never know.
well, I suppose
You could do like
Very
a
committed.
video, a multiple. Yeah, can you do that like a multiple video cam thing in different spaces? Can you do that? Can that be done? Like this
There's people, talented people there that can do
I would
basically
not
anything.
I can barely FaceTime someone. Never
Well, the
mind.
Indian restaurant opens on Christmas Day, so you could do it there.
Oh, we had the Christmas dinner in
we
the
went there
Indian.
a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah, it was very excellent.
Really?
It was amazing.
That's class.
We
You
just
didn't
drank
have to wash
loads
any
of
dishes
Baileys
or
all
anything.
morning, and then we went up to the Indian.
Yeah.
Here in town.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
Saturday
that's
dinner.
class.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like 35 per head or something, and
That's alright, isn't it?
but it's not like the traditional. It's like a curried turkey, isn't it?
Yeah, it was
And
just
there's
curried.
no ham.
Yeah, yeah,
That should be great. Though,
That's
like.
Yeah, it was nice.
it was excellent.
It should be
That's
nice
class.
to not cook, like for people to not cook on Christmas.
I've never
Like,
been down to that,
Would appreciate that.
Or not
It's
clean.
nice down
Yeah.
there,
You
sorry.
just stand
Sorry.
up and walk
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
It's
Never
all
been
it
down there.
was
Where
amazing.
have you been to that other place, Ranagore?
That's lovely, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's lovely. So we're jumping off topic now. All this
Indian
food
food.
I
is
kind of
front
threw
of
a
us by
spanner into
Lucy.
that fun fact. Like, we were trying to do the fun fact every week. It's like last week we kind of forgot and just it kind of tailed on at the end. I was like, oh yeah, here's the fun fact. But anyway, yeah,
That
it's
was an
fun.
excellent fact.
I'll give you another fun fact. What's the only bird that could fly backwards? It's not fun actually, it's an actual real thing.
Jesus.
Hummingbird?
Very
Backwards.
good. Ruined it!
I wasn't actually doing it. I was honestly just
I thank God Stevie could answer that. No guest can come on and give a fact that
there you
can't be
go.
answered by Stevie. Yeah, I'm glad.
Well done,
I
well done.
don't want to accept
Absolutely
that
no one.
I don't want guests coming on here and trying to catch me out with facts.
Extremely intelligent guest.
I'd say
Don't step to
straight
Stevie.
away someone would find
Well, that
most of my
taught
facts
me.
are from-
then there's that's my only fact. I probably have plenty.
That was a lovely fact.
Yeah,
too,
you're
wasn't it?
welcome.
Sorry, I didn't think that would actually be right. So I feel like
Yeah.
you ruined
I'm
that.
just so happy it was.
Well, it is the only bird that can fly backwards.
That's
There you go
excellent.
now. Something new. I learn something new every day.
I couldn't figure out why it would be flying backwards. Like, did it have a head at the other side as well?
I have no idea. That's getting a bit technical for me now.
They kind of hover though, don't they?
What?
They
Yeah.
hover.
How they hover,
Yeah.
yeah, they do hover. Yeah.
Really interested, actually. Well, I think it's interesting. My definition of interested is probably, I don't know, too important for some people. And another interesting fact is that you said birds. You know, emus have like the largest egg out of any bird.
Yeah.
But if you take into proportion the size of their body, their egg is the smallest percentage size compared to them. So they have like the smallest by proportion, but also the largest egg. So they're like smallest and largest at the same time.
Okay, again, over my head there then, but good fact
But
to
yeah,
know.
I suppose back
Good
to
fact to know.
talking about Pride. I suppose in terms of like for anyone who's watching or anyone who's interested, like, have you much fundraising coming up or anything? Any fundraising activities? Coming
I
up?
haven't got any fundraising as such coming up at the moment. We're always looking for people to come on board. A lot of the stuff that was done this year was donated. Time was
Yeah.
donated. Danielle came along and donated her time. Lucy donated her time. Some of the pubs donated their time, as in like they invited us in and said that we were welcome, which was great.
Yeah.
We had a lovely thing in Q11 after Pride. We had a drag DJ and stuff. But as far as fundraising, nothing as of yet. We do musical quiz nights, which were ended up being, it was only supposed to be like a once-off
Yeah.
kind of a thing up in the Monks. It was great crack. And we were asked to come back again, and we had a bigger crowd the next night. And it was great crack. So I'd say after Christmas, there will definitely be more Pride stuff on around. And if anyone wants to get involved, I encourage anyone that wants to come on board or be on the committee even to contact me, or if anyone knows of how we can get any funding, because we didn't get any funding this year. We funded it all ourselves, and donations were given to us, like I said. So yeah, contact me and we will arrange stuff here. We are hoping to have something here with Lucy. She had suggested that we could have like an LGBTQ meal, which would be cool, and have some music and stuff, which I think would be quite cool, wouldn't it?
Be very good.
Yeah. So so if anyone wants to contact me, let me know.
You might have crowd issues, like hopefully this year.
Well,
You might have crowd issues, like there might be all outside the window. There'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
banks of people looking
yeah,
in.
we'll have like are you on the list? No, you're not. You're in. Oh, you're good looking. You could definitely come in. You know what I mean? But no,
You
yeah,
had
just
a
contact me.
fashion show, didn't you? Did you do
Oh,
it
we
in
had a
Iraq?
fashion show. The fashion show was a disaster. I
in
lost
the rag?
money. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, I lost a lot of money on it.
Oh.
My own money. But anyway, people gave clothes, but they weren't just your everyday like Penny's clothes, or they were all designer clothes,
Yeah.
or clothes with still tags on them and stuff. I actually still have a lot of them down in my house. My house is like en Paris, but we went out to the rag and we had a DJ and we had a lovely backdrop and we had a fashion show, and some of the LGBTQ community came out, and that was fine, but we still went ahead with it anyway, because obviously we didn't want to disappoint whoever was there for it. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't go as we had
That's
hoped.
important to hear about disasters.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Learning experiences, like.
Jesus, yeah.
It was it would have been a great event if people had showed up.
I'd say travel could have been a reason for that, 'cause I know like drag isn't too far out of
'Cause
town,
it's
but for
like-
anyone who didn't drive, like it's kind of a lot of people.
Yeah,
It'd
lesson
be
learned.
just far enough out of town that people mightn't go.
Yeah, lesson learned. But we had a
Shame
great
though.
setup out there. We had Oscar Lipinski.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
Oscar
Oscar,
Lipinski
yeah.
out there. He was modelling his own stuff and had a table there. We had Maeve from the meditation group. She was there. She had a little table there.
I just think
and
as an
spoke about
idea, it
stuff.
could work great. Like,
Yeah, I think on a,
What
on
about-
a, on a maybe a
what about-
later scale.
what about
You know what I
sticking
mean?
that into the St. Patrick's Day parade or on the thing to have like a fashion show segment?
Would that
Yeah.
fix St. Patrick's Day?
Maybe. So you actually
Yeah.
just put Pride
Agreed.
over St. Patrick's
I,
Day.
I think we should like change John's segment from me and Is It Christmas to like
Fuck St.
how do we say St.
Yeah,
Patrick's?
any other-
Every week he has a suggestion on how to say St. Patrick's.
But you know what? Think about it. You're in the square, and
you're
the next kind of 10 minutes of the parade, the floats are stopped. Then the live music comes on.
Yeah.
The lights.
Mm.
The
Lights,
the models.
action,
Do you know, like,
vote,
Yeah.
vote.
the smoke. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're in front of the judging stand or whatever.
Maybe that's you can be our new member, our committee on the member, and you can organise that. You organise
Yeah,
it,
okay.
we'll get there.
Yeah,
End
yeah.
of, that's it. Full stop. I'll be there, front row and centred. You can organise that. Fair play to you.
I'm excited about it.
See you next Paddy's Day. Praise.
Yeah.
It's not like you said there about people contact you. If people are like to contact you, anyone who's listening or watching, depending on whether it's YouTube or Spotify, do they contact you on like your own personal page or like Tipperary page or what?
We have Evelyn Roberts on my Tipperary on Facebook. Then there's Tipperary Pride, and then we have Instagram as well as Pride of Tipperary, Pride Tipperary. Or if you just type in Evelyn Roberts, you'll see something got to do with Pride there. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm a technophobe, and one of the girls at the commission helped me organise that. So I have no idea. I'm only learning how to use Instagram. So it's quite cool actually. I don't know how I didn't discover it beforehand. But yeah, so contact me on that, and yeah. So Evelyn Roberts, Tipperary Pride, Instagram is Pride Tipperary.
Okay.
Thank you very much for organising Pride.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
very welcome. You're very welcome.
So-
It was my honour.
Have you anything else you'd like to talk about, or are you happy enough to?
No, just no.
Or anything else you'd like? Anything else upcoming you'd like to plug? I suppose the meet tonight.
The meet tonight, I don't know if it's going to be up on
this
time.
Will be,
Is that?
this will be won't be on until Monday, so it'll be
Yeah,
for that.
but we definitely will be organising nights out and nights
How,
away.
how was the parade 2 days ago?
The parade 2 days
Alright, how
ago.
was the
How
meet 2
how
days
was the
ago?
meet? How was the meeting 2 days ago?
Oh yeah. How was the meeting on Saturday?
Oh yeah.
How did it go?
It was great. actually.
But yeah, so if people are interested, look out for future meets on
Yeah,
where you
future
said it
meets
now.
and Facebook and Instagram. Look up there. And if anyone wants to, I would encourage anyone, because I'm always away, good for a good night away. Contact me and we can organise nights away. We're hoping to organise a gay holiday through this. It's called Olivia Holidays. So sorry, I think it's women only. I'm not sure. I have to look into that one. You can come. It's women only, and it's abroad. So any of the lesbians.
Only if
around-
you're a woman and have a passport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah. So,
It's,
come along,
it's,
come along.
it's quite exclusive, this whole LGBTQ.
It's
The whole idea.
It's an acquired. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
So to say.
You could say
No common John. So out of here.
There's only one guy. No more allowed.
No, but definitely look. We be and also then for the younger generation, we will have stuff for the younger generation.
Yeah.
People are saying to me, it's all evolved around drink and stuff, and I don't want it to be about that. Like I don't want it to be about like the older people, like obviously going away for our nights away, and I love that. Like, but like we have to remember, like there is a younger generation there too, and we'll definitely organise something for the younger generation. So the more younger people that get involved, the more we can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For them, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I
So-
think the St. Patrick's Day parade would be a great opportunity.
Well, you can organise it. We'll all come. There's no problem. But when is this being broadcasted? Can I say that?
Monday.
Monday. So anyone that looks at this that are in the LGBTQ community up in Dromoland, there's a thing called the Outing Festival. So it's a matchmaking festival for the gay community or LGBTQ community, and so that's quite good. If you contact Eddie McGuinness, if you contact myself, if you contact the Outing Ireland, you get all the information there. What's going on? Johnny Logan is there, drag queen
And it's,
Sparkle
is
are
it-
going to be there, which are the band for my 40th. Anyone that's around, please come to my 40th.
And do you book like your lodgings, and is it all into one package?
can
Is it like
go-
buying a
you can-
ticket for a festival? Like
Yeah.
you buy-
It's like there's loads of music and stuff like I said going on. It's like a mini music festival
Yeah.
for the gay community. But you can buy your tickets on the Outing. On the Outing, I think it's outing.ie or outing.com. But if you
And it's one night, is it?
it's 2 nights. It's Friday and Saturday, the 27th and 28th. And if you're around next weekend in Cuzzies in Rathdowney, is it Rathdowney? Called Rathdowney? It's Cuzzies in Rathdowney. They have a Pride night as well. So if anyone is in around that area, go to Cuzzies. Cuzzies or Cuzzies. I don't know how to pronounce it. Cuzzies. But that's in Rathdowney.
So I think we'll leave there. So we just big thanks to coming in for talking about this, because it's important for a lot of people to hear. And like you said, if anyone is listening, there's plenty of stuff going on. Just keep an eye out for it. So we're going to finish off the podcast today. But first of all, like, thanks to everyone for coming.
Thank you, Evelyn.
We're going to finish off now. We have like a word of the
A song
day.
from Dan Gibbs.
A word of the day.
No,
or,
no.
Thanks to
Lucy.
Oh yeah, thanks to thanks to Lucy as well for letting us use the green sheep. Like Kieran says, if you don't like good food, don't come here. So if you do like good food, come here. So we're going to end now with the word of the day or word of the week, which is it's an Irish word, courtesy of the Irish Fur made a post of the best autumnal words, and it was the word cloggerknock, which is the sound of rain against a roof or window when you're inside.
Love it.
Jesus.
Cloggerknock.
Cloggerknock.
Love it.
Cloggerknock.
Love that. Love that sound.
Thanks for listening, lads. See you next week.
Slán.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.